Today is Friday something. I only know that because my dad told me it was Thursday yesterday. I had no clue what day it was. I am so lost right now. But I'm closer to having this beast back in these tiny little frame rails. Or not frame rails, this is a unibody, but unibody rails. There we go. I went and bought a serpentine belt because just like the water pump and the oil pump and all that good stuff, I replaced all of it because on a build like this was a complete tear down, complete rebuild with main bearings, rod bearings, hone the cylinder walls, clean the pistons, deck the head just a hair, ported the exhaust, cleaned all the valves. I mean, this was all out rebuild because it had so many issues. And of course, the new transmission that only has 30,000 miles on it. I'm really hoping I don't have to have it reprogrammed. Typically, the newer model transmission and the older model engine, I've been told it has to be reprogrammed, or you can just swap this front plate over that has the computer and the valve body in it from the old one, and it's fine. Not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. I don't trust this old one at all. It had so many metal shavings in the fluid, and the fluid was so burnt. I'm afraid that the solenoids in the valve body and etc. are going to be junk. I am going to go ahead and pop the cover off just to see if they can be cleaned and see if there's a way I can test them. There's got to be a way I can test them. See if they open and close correctly. I just see right now I need to take these lines off of this one. ACE or no transmission lines. I need to take them off and put over here because they cut the lines like they always do. Annoying. I put a new PCV valve in it, which was pointless, I think, because the thing doesn't have a one-way in it. It's just, there's no wonder oil gets in the intake manifold. It's a straight hole. You can blow and suck through it. It makes no sense. So I'm gonna do something different with that. I'll probably leave that PCV and then put an extra one-way valve, check valve in it. What did I get this morning? I got this table full of stuff that cost over $200. It's ridiculous. Stuff mechanics don't tell you. You fully rebuild an engine, you're gonna have to break it in. You're gonna have to get twice the amount of oil and twice the oil filters. After about 400 or 500 miles, I'm going to need to change the oil and the filter. I'm going to have to do the break-in of the engine on the interstate at 2,000 RPMs, 5,000 RPMs, 3,000 RPMs, and finally 4,000 RPMs to break in the cylinder hone and all that good stuff, the bearings. I have gone through 3 cans of WD-40 in this whole build, getting more power steering fluid, more coolant. I always buy the concentrate. It's way cheaper in the long run. Bought the serpentine belt. I think it was like 25 bucks. Well worth the not having to get back into that engine, take it all back out just to change a belt. Got 2 gallons of ATF. I hope that's enough. My phone had no service when we were there. I got the coolant line hoses that are ripped, which have these special connections on them right here, which aren't anything fancy. Those will pop right off. And right up here, they have couplers. So I'm just going to pop those off and put retention couplers back on it on both sides. I looked them up, and for those hoses with those special adapters, they were $110 a piece. And I got this hose for $4. And I have a box full of couplers that I can use. And lastly, if you're on a budget like me and you can't replace, say, gaskets like this, because I mean stuff adds up quick. $10 here, $10 there, $40 here, $50 there. I mean, somebody like me, you're just broke. You can't do that. So the cheapest route is to buy this $7 gasket maker, so you don't have to buy this once. If I calculate all of them, it's $90, I think it was, for everything. So for $7, put this gasket material on both sides of your exhaust manifolds and your outlets, and which I've already used one tube of this, but no, I didn't. The other gaskets were good. They weren't crushed like this. See, these have crushed. I could probably hammer it flat again since it's just copper. I may do that, but I'm still going to use this gasket material. I only like Permatex. It is what it is. I use this black Permatex everywhere that I thought it was going to leak. Basically, the old pins held on with this. That's how it's meant to be. The outer cover, timing cover, is held on with this because that's how it's meant to be. But I did notice on the engine when I took it apart, even though they have seals and all these sensors are new, there we go, these oil sensors right here, they have an O-ring to keep oil from coming out, but this whole cover was still soaked. You can tell by this plug-in, it was just covered in oil. They had failed. They did not do their job. So on each one of these, I went ahead, even though I put new O-rings in each one, then I also put Permatex around, just a tiny layer around the back edges, so when I push it in, it seals it off completely. That way no oil will come out. I still got to put the power steering pump on, then the serpentine belt, a few lines, and I'll be ready to jack this up in the air and figure out where the rest of these plugs go. Now let's talk logistics. Oh, another little tip I got. I use this Burns diesel, 185,000 BTU DeWalt torch to heat up this shop, which 35 by 40 has a separate paint room right there. I think it's 24 by 17, which I have a heater in it just for that, which is electric. But the ceiling is not encased yet, so I don't have any insulation basically. So I use that to knock the chill out of the place. It does it quick. Does it really quick. And then I have my fireplace to maintain the heat level basically. I gotta put a plate on that wall behind it. It looks like it's getting hot. It's turning colors, or that's a shadow one. Anyways, I have those two fans, which I'll change eventually, make it look a little nicer. So right now it's kind of goofy, but it works. I got it blowing on the pipes, keep the pipes cool and blow that heat around the shop basically. Eventually, when money is available, I'll get one of those heat transfer things and put it all over the place, and put some draw through fans to suck the heat up toward it throughout the shop. But for now, this works. It's cheap. I think it's to heat this place so far, which I mean, it hasn't got super duper cold down here in Waverly, Tennessee, but whew, that thing is hot. I think I'm calculating for heat about $1 a day to heat this place. So If I can ever afford to insulate it, I can cut that down even more. That'd be pretty cool. But what was I talking about? Let's talk logistics. Man, I'm really starting to look like an old man shop, ain't I? You walk in one of those old man shops, that's all used oil up top there. It's still good oil. I use it in my lawnmowers and stuff, so I'm not wasting anything, and I'm not having to buy any oil for my little lawnmower. But yeah, I got so many tools I don't know where to put them. I need a better setup. I need a better setup eventually. Anyways, I keep my sand over here by the stove. Keep it nice and dry. It ain't actually sand, it's black media, diamond dust. Less than 1% silica dust. That stuff's dangerous, guys. Don't use sand. It gets in your lungs, and that silica, basically just think of it as micro glass beads. And they get in your lungs and they never get out, and they develop polyps around them, which could turn into cancer. So if you've ever done sandblasting without proper safety gear, which isn't a painter's mask, because it can get through that, you're more than likely to have polyp dust in your lungs or whatever. I'm feeling a little better today, not physically. I'm actually sick. I think I had a fever last night. I woke up twice sweating, drenched in the bed. My throat's killing me this morning. I'm going to blame it on my kids. But mentally, physically, I'm horrible. I'm so sore from yesterday. Mentally, I'm better today. I hold myself at such a high standard. It's worse than anything anybody else could ever do. And I'm learning that it's okay to not get things done in the time frame that I want them done. I need to just work and be satisfied with what's being completed right now, because things have happened and are happening that are out of my control. I have no control over it, so I shouldn't be holding myself accountable for something I have no control over. I will not. If somebody wants to help me, by all means, I will let them. We just picked a random chapter to read out of the Bible last night, and it's talking not to get into any debt and blah blah blah. Pay to people who you do owe what you owe them, but don't get into debt, because then you're working for somebody else instead of Christ throughout your whole life. But if somebody does decide they want to help us, I'm more than welcome to accept it as a gift and not as a reimbursement. If we go under and go bankrupt, then so be it. I can't keep putting myself in a position to where I'm in debt to people, and especially people I know. It never ends well. There is no good debt situation, especially with loved ones or people that begin to judge you on what you're spending money on instead of paying them, etc., etc. As if your whole life now revolves around paying them a debt that you owe. It's a good way to kill a family and a friendship, I think. So if I do come across any money at all, for whatever reason, after paying our bills, keep us from going bankrupt. I'm gonna pay off any debts I have because I just can't stand it anymore. I don't know how long or short that'll take, but I can only work on one thing at a time. I've got to get this SUV finished, get that off my plate. Oh yeah, best coffee cup in the world. I've had this thing forever. It's scalding hot. I ain't drinking it right now because I accidentally left it in the microwave for 3 minutes, and it's only a quarter of the way full. If there's anything I can do to help any of you out, if there's any type of videos you'd like to see, instructional videos, let me know. I'll do my best to make something happen. Man, every time I look over at this car, it just makes me sick, because I was working on my Impala on the side when I could before everybody else's cars started breaking down. And I mean, that right there, look at that. Look at that. That is what my car is gonna look like. Probably not that color, but I like the wheels. I like the color that I painted it. I don't want any chrome. Chrome's overrated. Two-door fastbacks, man. That's where it's at. Gotta get that cockeyed, cool look. There we go. Three in mud. Even this gold extra golden is way better. 31177 than Evercoat's Rage Gold. There we go. This stuff's way better. Gives you longer working time. Then when it goes off in a hurry. It does leave a tacky film on top, just like Evercoat. I'll tell you though, if you use that plastic honey, you would think it would have a bigger skim coat on top, but it does not. It has no skim coat if you use that. Use that in plenty of hardener so it actually turns green. Don't let it stay yellowish, make it turn green. That way you've used enough hardener. You will still have plenty of working time. As you've seen on some of the stuff I've done, like that tank, that was one wipe, the whole entire gas tank. Good stuff. They ain't paying me to review this, but you know what? If they would, that would be great. I'd make a demo video on how to use it in a real world situation with real people and not a controlled, perfect environment like they usually typically do. They're inside of a nicer than a paint booth, clean room, white lights, white paper everywhere, and no contamination, no old used cans with some dried up clumps on the inside of it like most normal people all have. Alright, this video is long enough. I need to get to work. Later, guys.